When the college entrance exam scores came out, I got 0 and didn't lose my mind. But my cousin's whole family went crazy. They had no idea I was reborn. In my past life, my cousin deliberately bound the exam paper swap system. My scores got transferred to him, and his scores became mine. In the end, I, the top student of my grade, couldn't even get into a community college. I was dazed and got killed in a car accident. This time, I chose to get early admission quietly first, then take the college entrance exam. I'm just here to mess with them real bad. After the college entrance exam results were released, me, who always ranked first in grade, only got a little over 200 points. While my cousin, who never studied at all, Song Jinian, got a super high score of 710. I looked totally dazed and out of it. When I walked out of my house, a robotic voice suddenly popped up in my head. Guyanji's college entrance exam score is 710. Successfully swapped with cousin Song Jingyan. The person whose score was swapped will be erased by the system in 3 seconds. As the countdown counted down for a few seconds, I was hit and sent flying by a car that came out of nowhere. Floating in the air, I watched my cousin's family get surrounded by school leaders and TV station crews, and my mom, who was running towards me with a urine bag attached. I died with so much regret, then I opened my eyes again and went back to right before the college entrance exam. I could hear the system in my cousin's head, making that cold robotic beeping sound. Congratulations, host, the college entrance exam paper swap system you exchanged 30 years of lifespan for is now successfully bound. As long as your college entrance exam score is over 600, the lifespan you exchanged will be returned tripled. The person whose score is swapped will be erased. Otherwise, the host's entire family will be erased. That's when I realized my cousin's whole family was part of this invisible murder plot. Each of them even mortgaged 10 years of their lifespan for this. That's so ruthless, just for a college entrance exam. They actually used their own lifespan to summon such a murderous system. After the robotic notification in my cousin's head ended, someone knocked on our door. My uncle Song Shanhei was standing right at the front, followed by his wife and son. After my grandparents passed away, my uncle barely ever visited our place even once a year. But today he not only came in person, he also brought a whole bunch of gifts with a huge fake smile on his face. I heard our nephew is the famous top student at #1 high school. He scores over 700 points every single exam. I plan to let Jingnian stay here to study with our nephew for the exam. Sis, you won't say no to this, right? It's your own brother asking for help. How could my mom say no? Back then I hated my uncle too, but I was fully focused on preparing for the exam, so I didn't think too much of it. But no one expected. Song Jinian moving in was the first step of the system's plan. Me and my mom had no clue at all. We stupidly walked right into the trap my uncle's family set for us. This time, my mom was about to say yes again, but I immediately started sobbing dramatically. Uncle, I'm not planning to take the college entrance exam. 4 pairs of eyes in the room popped wide open like bells, especially the eyes of my uncle's family of 3. They were even wider than my mom's, all round and bulging, like they'd just been scared to death. Their whole family just used their own lifespan to bind the exam paper swap system. If I don't take the college entrance exam, their whole family will get erased. Won't all their plans go down the drain? Looking at their expressions, I found it so hilarious. This is just the beginning. Is it already this fun? My mom, who had no idea what was going on, asked me carefully. Yanji, what's wrong? Talk to mom, okay? Mom has money to pay for your studies. Don't overthink stuff. My mom had a really tough life. My grandparents favored their son way more. Even though she got first place in the high school entrance exam, they didn't let her go to school. They married her off early for bride price to pay for my uncle's education. Luckily, my dad, even though he was poor, was a really good man. But he had bad luck too. He got hit by a concrete slab and died. My mom's family thought she was too poor and refused to help her out at all. My uncle used the bride price they got from my mom to go to school and got rich later. He also looked down on his sister and refused to help her. My mom had to support the family all by herself and pay for my schooling at the same time. She kept putting off treatment for her illness. In my past life, my mom already had uremia at that time. She could have fully recovered if she got treatment right away, but she hid it from me. Afraid I'd skip the college entrance exam if I found out. The pain of never getting to go to college. My mom remembered it her whole life. She didn't want me to go through the same thing. She wanted me to escape this poverty and go live a big, bright life. She was willing to carry all the heavy burdens herself, so I could move forward without a worry. Thinking back to after I died, my mom stumbling after me with her urine bag falling off, my heart ached so bad. Now that I'm reborn, I need to figure out a way It's for my mom, and I'm gonna make my uncle cover all costs and efforts. Seeing me hanging my head low, my uncle spoke up. Yanzi, why do you suddenly not want to take the college entrance exam? Tell uncle if you have any difficulties. My aunt nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. Yeah, just ask if you need any help. Only my blunt cousin Song Jinian yelled out loud. Bro, if you don't take the college entrance exam, I'm totally screwed. My aunt quickly covered his mouth. What Jinian means is, you're his role model. If you skip the college entrance exam, it's just like his favorite celebrity got canceled. He wouldn't even want to live anymore, right? Song Jinian. My aunt glared at him. Scared, Song Jinian immediately started talking sweetly. That's right, bro. You're my idol. Everyone says with your grades, you'll definitely be this year's top scorer of the college entrance exam. If you don't take the exam, tons of pretty girls will cry their eyes out. I looked at him with a cold sneer. He sure has a way with words. Even though I felt icy inside, my pitiful act on the face didn't fade at all. Uncle, you don't know. My mom has uremia. Our family only makes a living by collecting scrap. We have no money for her treatment at all. What's the point, even if I get into college? I'd rather get a job early to earn money for mom's treatment. I started sobbing after I finished speaking. When I wiped my tears with my sleeve, I snuck a glance at my uncle's expression. His face didn't look good right now. Back when I got into the key high school, my mom, who just lost my husband not long ago, swallowed her pride. To ask uncle for a 1,000 yuan loan for my tuition, uncle rejected her without even looking at her IOU. Sis, don't think I live a fancy life all the time. I drive a nice car and travel around a lot, but I barely make any real profit. I have to pay my employees, my wife's expenses, my daughter's expenses. Everything costs money. Mom was almost on her knees begging him. I stopped her. A man's knees are worth their weight in gold. A woman's knees are just as precious. I finally borrowed the money from my junior high head teacher. Looking at it now, Mom's 120,000 wen bride price paid for her brother's whole education, but she couldn't even borrow 1,000 wen from him. That's the biggest joke ever. A brother like this is even worse than an animal. I kept crying, hiding my face in my sleeve. Mom comforted me. Silly kid, once you take the exam and get into college, you can earn money to pay for my treatment. Don't say stupid things. After you finish crying, go back to review properly. How would Mom know? I never got into college at all. She never got cured either. After I died, she passed away right the next day after me. That stingy uncle watched me sobbing. He didn't say a word for a long time. Finally, my aunt pinched his arm, said through gritted teeth, Song Shana, what are you staring blankly for? Say something! Do you want our whole family to die or what? Only then did Uncle stomp his foot hard. All right, nephew, stop crying. I'll pay for all the treatment costs. My aunt also spoke up at the right time. Yeah, Yanji! The college entrance exam is right around the corner. How can you skip it? The money for medical bills. Your uncle will take care of it. Mom tried to refuse. I wiped my tears right away, pulled uncle and walked towards the door. The hospital said they have a matched kidney for my mom. We just need to prepare 500,000 wen. Let's go to the hospital to pay right now. I know uncle works as a construction contractor. I've heard for ages that he owes his employees wages. Who knows what excuse he'll make to drag his feet later. He can afford to wait, but the patient can't. Sure enough, uncle stopped walking, looking very troubled. Yanji, you're too young to understand. No one has that much cash on hand all at once. You need to give me time. I need to find time to cash out my bank. Funds and some stocks first. Ugh, I really guessed it right. Mom also pulled me back. Told me not to make things hard for uncle. I looked at my mom who knew nothing. I'm not making things hard for him. I'm letting him atone for his past mistakes. When he goes to the 18th level of hell in the future, maybe the little demons there will make him climb the knife mountain one less time. I forced out 2 more tears. Took out my phone. Mom is right. I was being unreasonable, making things hard for uncle. I'll call my head teacher right now. I'll go handle the dropout procedures later. I'll go to Guangdong to work tomorrow. When my uncle saw I really got through to the head teacher, he immediately snatched the phone and hung up. I'll go get the money right now. Your mom is my own biological sister. How could I ignore her when she's sick? I grinned triumphantly. I haven't sorted out the guaranteed college admission yet. Why would I ever drop out of school? The number I dialed was actually 186, not the head teacher's. I just changed the contact note, that's all. As soon as the 500,000 wen was paid, Mom got admitted to the best hospital that same day. A matching kidney donor was also confirmed. My uncle's whole family kept urging me to go back to school, told me not to delay my exam review. I glanced sadly at the ward. If I leave, who's gonna take care of my mom? My aunt spoke up immediately. Yanji, we've already hired a caregiver. You can rest 100% assured. I quickly waved my hands. Uncle, Aunt, you've already spent so much money. If I let you spend more on a caregiver, that would make me really ungrateful. Clearly. If I don't spell it out for them, they won't get the hint at all. I took out the wash basin. Just now, I heard the family of Grandma Wang in the next bed say, the caregivers here are super eager when they take money, but you can't find them anywhere when you need help. I pointed at an auntie in bed 14. That auntie over there also said she needs to get up to use the bathroom at night. She called for the caregiver a few too many times and got pinched on the thigh for it. My eyes welled up with tears. When it comes to taking care of someone, you really need family to do it. Otherwise, the patient will just suffer. The couple went silent at that. My uncle pretended he wanted to go smoke. My aunt followed him out right away. Mom held my hand. Yanji, Mom's fine. You should go back to school to study. I smiled at Mom. Don't worry. Let me wipe your face first. In my past life, after Song Jinian moved in, my uncle and aunt bought me tons of nutritional supplements every day. They also always asked about my grades with concern. Mom and I both thought it was genuine care. We were really touched. Later, my aunt broke her leg. She thought the caregiver was unreliable, so she made my mom take care of her for over half a month. She didn't pay a single cent. My mom didn't say anything about it, but I heard my aunt say on the phone many times, "What's so good about her? She reeks of sour sweat. I feel sick even when she touches me." If I didn't want to save money on the caregiver, She didn't name anyone specifically, so I didn't think much of it back then. Now that I think about it, she was talking about my mom. She owes my mom. Before she dies, I'll make her pay back every single debt clearly. I carried the wash basin to get water. I heard voices behind the fire exit door. It was my uncle Song Shanhei's voice. "Why don't you stay here and take care of her for a few days?" My aunt Sun Shinlin screamed. "Song Shanhei, are you insane? Do you think this is just a few days' work? The doctor already said she has to stay in the hospital for at least 2 months after surgery. We have to stay overnight with her for the first month, and we even have to help her with the bedpan. Let me tell you, even my own mom never got this kind of treatment from me." My uncle Song Shanhei comforted her. "Look at it this way. With Gu Yanji's grades, getting into Tsinghua is basically a sure thing. Then the deal we have with Lida Group will be settled, right?" He paused for a second. "Even in the worst case scenario, even if she doesn't get into Tsinghua, Gu Yanji can definitely get the 600 points the system requires. That's 100% guaranteed. Then Jinian will get into a good university, and our whole family will get 3 times our normal lifespan. A little sacrifice now is totally worth it." My aunt's frustration eased a little after hearing that. "Then you have to buy villas for my parents, and my little brother, 1 for each." Song Shanhei agreed repeatedly. "After the college entrance exam ends, you can have whatever you want." I snorted coldly. I carried the water back to the ward. "Whatever you want? Yeah, right. That depends on whether I allow it or not." Not long after, the two of them walked in one after another. My uncle stood in front of the hospital bed and said, "Big sister, Yanzi is right. Caregivers really are unreliable. Luckily, Sinlin majored in nursing. We'll let her take care of you." My uncle looked at me after saying that. "Yanji, you can rest easy now, right?" "Of course I can rest easy now. I've known for ages that my aunt majored in nursing. She quit her job when she snagged my uncle. Otherwise, she'd never be worthy of taking care of my mom." I stood up right away. "Thanks for all the hard work, Aunt." They thought this was finally over, and even secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Little did they know I was going to speak again. But if my aunt's the one taking care of Mom, staying in this shared ward would be so uncomfortable. "Uncle, you dote on Aunt so much. You can't bear to let her suffer, right?" I said this in a super playful tone on purpose, like I was just jealous of their loving relationship. Nothing more. I just wanted to make my uncle spend a ton of money, to move Mom into a private suite. The nurses there provide one-on-one care. More importantly, there's 2-way video surveillance, so that my aunt can be right under my nose taking diligent care of Mom. Meanwhile, I can focus on preparing for the recommendation exam and keep in touch with Mom whenever I want. Uncle glanced at Aunt. He said nothing, so I quickly acted like those phony nice girls in dramas and lightly tapped my own mouth. "Oops, look at me, I've never even been in a relationship." "You definitely already planned to move to a private ward, right, Uncle? That's why you're okay with Aunt taking care of Mom, yeah." I glanced at Aunt while talking to Uncle. She was also staring daggers at Uncle. Song Shanhei, that total cheapskate, immediately tried to appease Aunt to please her. "Honey, that goes without saying. How could I let you sleep on a hard metal bed for 2 months? I've already arranged everything. I'm gonna go pay right now. We'll move to the private suite. After Mom's surgery, I dived right into intense preparation for the recommendation exam. Sometimes when I got tired from studying, I'd check the camera footage to see how Mom was doing. Sun Sinlen actually is really professional given her background. Even the nurses would ask her for advice sometimes. But people are people, you know? No one's gonna work hard if no one's watching. Sometimes I'd study till 3 a.m. Mom would need to get up, and felt bad waking Aunt up, so she'd try to get up on her own. I could see through the camera that Aunt wasn't actually asleep. She just wanted to slack off whenever she could. I deliberately spoke through the camera to Mom. Aunt is working so hard taking care of you. Maybe I should come take care of you starting tomorrow. We can't ruin Aunt's health just because I'm prepping for the National College entrance exam. That would be so unfair. Look how sleepy Aunt is. She must be exhausted. You can't even wake her up. It's so sad to see when she heard I wanted to skip studying to come take care of Mom. Sun Sinlin immediately jumped right up to hold Mom steady. Yanzi, you just focus on your studying, don't worry. I'm not tired at all. I don't know what happened, I just nodded off for a second and fell asleep without realizing it. After that, Sun Sinlin knew I was watching her every move, so she didn't dare slack off at all, scared that I'd come take care of Mom because I felt bad for her. As if I'd ever feel bad for her. I was studying hard like they told me to, alright? Except I was studying for Tsinghua University's recommendation exam. In my past life, when Song Jinian moved into my house, Aunt saw my study materials and asked casually, "These don't look like college entrance exam materials." I had just told Mom that I got the qualification for the recommendation entrance exam, so she happily shared the good news. Yanzi passed the recommendation qualifying exam, and now she's preparing for the entrance exams for several schools. If she passes those, she won't have to take the National College entrance exam. What? Everyone in Uncle's family sat up straight immediately. No college entrance exam if you get the recommendation spot. Uncle mumbled to himself. He glanced at Aunt. The whole family exchanged a look. That meaningful look sealed my fate of failing the recommendation exam later on. Song Jinian lived and ate with our family, and soon found out I'm allergic to oats. On the day of my recommendation exam, he nicely made me a glass of milk. Right after I drank it, I had a severe allergic reaction and ended up in the hospital. Later, we found out it was because the milk I drank had oats in it. Song Jinian kept apologizing and even slapped himself in front of me, saying he deserved to die. It's all my fault. I'm your little brother. I messed up. I never should have accidentally handed you the milk that I was drinking, brother. He grabbed my hand. But cousin, you still have the college entrance exam. Your grades are so good. You'll definitely get into Tsinghua University. I thought he was so disgusting. I pushed him away hard, and Song Jinian hit his head right against the wall. All the teachers and classmates originally felt so bad for me losing my recommendation spot, but after this hit, everyone thought I was going too far. That damn phony schemer. I didn't even use any force, but that was also when I realized that Song Jinian is a total scumbag, though I never understood why he cared so much about everything related to my college entrance exam. Whenever I casually mentioned some top-secret practice papers at the dinner table, he'd immediately ask my aunt to buy them at a high price. Now I finally get it. Whatever gets in the way of my exam, he will destroy it. So what if he's the one stopping me from taking the exam? If my uncle hadn't mentioned Lida Group at the hospital, I would have almost forgotten about someone like Su Mengyao. She's super pretty and comes from a rich family. She once blocked me at the school gate and shoved a bunch of love letters at me. My classmates were shocked. Yanji, how do you know the Lida Group's heiress? I heard she has a schoolmate boyfriend named Song Jinian. He's super domineering. Anyone who dares to talk to Su Mengyao on their own gets dragged to the bathroom and slapped. You better be careful. Don't mess with these people. I don't want to get caught up in this awful love triangle. So I changed my usual time to go home later. In this life, I came back to life right after Su Mengyao gave me those love letters. But we hadn't run into each other after I came back, until I secretly took the recommendation exam for Tsinghua University. On my way back at the airport exit, I ran into Su Mengyao and her father. I walked over to say hi to Su Mengyao on my own. I also said I really admired Chairman Su and hoped to take a photo with him. Su Mengyao quickly introduced me. Dad, this is Gu Yanji, top student of #1 City High School. With his grades, he's most likely going to be our city's top science stream student. Chairman Su gave a thumbs up. The three of us took a photo together. Then I took this photo and posted it anonymously on the school confession board. Rumors spread like wildfire immediately. I saw Su Mengyao come to our school and give Gu Yanji love letters before. I didn't expect things to move this fast. Top student paired with the city's richest man's daughter. This follow-up drama is going to be so interesting no matter what. Wait, no! Didn't they say Su Mengyao's boyfriend is her schoolmate Song Jinian? They already broke up? Don't you guys know, Chairman Su said a long time ago, if anyone wants to marry his daughter, they have to get into Tsinghua or Peking University. I skimmed a few comments, then went back to peeling apples for my mom by the hospital bed. Mom's surgery was a big success. My aunt helped her with all the personal care and took care of her non-stop for over 2 months. So I had time to study properly and took the recommendation admission test. The results came out this morning. My aunt saw I was free at the hospital and urged me, Yanzi, you don't need to come to the hospital anymore. Your mom's getting discharged tomorrow. Hurry back and study. My uncle was there too, he said. The college entrance exam is coming up soon. Don't mess up at the last minute. Hurry, go back and study. They have no idea. I already got a recommendation offer from Tsinghua University. It's time to let them feel what despair is like. I was halfway through peeling the apple. Song Jinian stormed in furiously. He kicked open the ward door, pointed at me and yelled, Gu Yanji, you bastard! How dare you hit on my girlfriend? I blinked innocently, cousin. What are you talking about? I don't get what you mean, he yelled. I already saw the photo. What did Su Mengyao and her dad say to you? I pretended to think for a second. Then said, nothing much. Just said if I get into Tsinghua, he wants me to marry Su Mengyao and be the son-in-law of Lida Group. Song Jinian was so angry his eyes were bloodshot. Did you agree? I shrugged, said ambiguously. It's not a bad deal, right? Song Jinian was grinding his teeth so hard he almost broke them. Then he lunged right at me. Gu Yanji, you wish! You'll never pass the exam. Even if you do, that score will be mine. I'm the one who will be Lida Group's son-in-law. You're just a trash picker's son. You think a little sparrow can turn into a phoenix. You can keep dreaming. He lunged at me with a lot of force, but brute force can't beat clever moves. I just leaned to the side a little, and Song Jinian missed entirely, fell face first onto the ground like an idiot. My aunt rushed to help him up, all worried. Why are you so impatient? Can't you hold your horses? Grown-ups are so clever. Even if I'm talking big right now, and obviously trying to steal their future daughter-in-law, they're not anxious at all. They've got the system anyway. I'll be erased right after I finish the Gaokao. But the next words I said made them completely lose their cool. I said to my cousin, since you say I'm being delusional and can't get into college, you also said even if I do get admitted, the score will belong to you anyway. I plopped down on the stool. Then I'm not taking the exam. My uncle, who was faking calm, stood up right away. Gu Yanji, what nonsense are you spouting now? He panicked instantly. He didn't call me nephew, or call me Yanji anymore. He called me by my full name. Since he could barely keep up the act, I stopped being sarcastic to him too. I stared at him intimidatingly. You can eat whatever you want, but you can't run your mouth recklessly. I can take responsibility for what I say. Can Song Jingnian take responsibility for his words? Saying that, I took out my phone. Uncle, aunt, it's not that I don't want to take the Gaokao. It's Song Jingnian who doesn't want me to take it. You all heard that, right? Not a single word I said is a lie, is it? I called my head teacher with a choking voice, telling him I wouldn't take the exam. I turned on the speakerphone. The head teacher yelled from the other end, Gu Yanji, what the hell are you talking about? I hung up right away, because I knew his next line would be, you've already got recommended to Tsinghua University. Why even bother taking the Gaokao? I couldn't let my uncle's family hear that now. I have other plans after all. When my uncle saw I actually called the head teacher and said I'd skip the Gaokao, he got so mad he kicked Song Jingnian in the stomach. You little brat! You never get anything right, only mess things up. Hurry up and apologize to your cousin. Song Jingnian clutched his stomach, sweating cold from the pain. My aunt Sun Sinlin originally didn't plan to blame her own son. But after I made that call, she realized I was dead serious. She immediately gritted her teeth at her son. I gave up being a rich lady to do all the dirty, humiliating work here and swallow all the insults, all for the day Gu Yanji takes the Gaokao. The Gaokao is right around the corner, and it's all ruined by this stupid son of mine. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. She raised her hand and gave Song Jingnian a loud slap. What are you still lying on the floor for? Hurry up and apologize to your cousin. I sat there without moving. Mom stared at all this in shock. She had no idea what had happened. During the time she was sick, I comforted her softly. Mom, I'll explain everything to you later. Don't ask anything right now. I looked at Song Jingnian, whose face was red from the slap. In my past life, when I was hospitalized for allergy, Song Jingnian put on a show of slapping himself in front of everyone. He just slapped himself lightly twice, and the whole thing was brushed off like nothing. I thought since Song Jingnian loves slapping shows that much, I'll let him perform as much as he wants this life. Song Jingnian also realized his impulsiveness messed up the whole plan. He crawled to my feet and said humbly, "Nice brother, I was wrong. Please forgive me. You can't skip the Gaokao because of me and ruin your own life. I didn't even lift my eyelids. Didn't you call me a bastard just now? How come I'm your nice brother now? What is your face made of? That it changes so fast." Song Jingnian looked at his mom, who was staring at him furiously, and his dad, who would kick him any second. He knew he had no way out. He gritted his teeth and slapped himself hard across the face. "Cousin, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have made up lies about you and called you a bastard. I'm the bastard." I raised an eyebrow to signal him to keep going. Song Jingnian slapped himself again. "Cousin, it's my fault. I shouldn't have talked nonsense. Your score is yours and yours only. No one can take it away. This family has been swallowing their pride for so long, just waiting to laugh at my misfortune. Little did they know I already wrote their ending for them." I waited till Song Jingnian slapped his face swollen like a pig's head before I finally spoke. "If you want me to forgive you and take the Gaokao, it's not impossible. But I have one condition. After I died in my past life, Song Jingnian not only took the score that should belong to me, took mine and my mom's lives, they also took away the memories of my dad. The house my dad left for me and before he died. Mom's shanty was taken over by my uncle. They threw my late father's portrait away. Then they took the family photo of the three of us and cut it up with scissors. All those things that mean the world to me were all thrown out by them like trash. I'm gonna make them feel the same pain once in my life. I said, I want that big flat of yours downtown." My uncle was shocked. My aunt's eyes went wide. Song Jingnian's face was so swollen he looked like a pighead. He was slurring his words, but I still understood what he said. He said that flat was exchanged with Dad's life. Of course I know that. Why else do you think I didn't ask for cash directly instead of his house? Before my uncle became a construction foreman, he was a skilled worker. Back then, he wanted to take a shortcut. A city official's son needed a kidney transplant back then. He secretly got tested and turned out to be a perfect match, so he donated it for free. One kidney got him a construction project. He made enough to buy a flat and a car. That's where that big downtown flat came from. Asking my uncle to give up this flat is almost like taking his life. Sure enough, my uncle snapped angrily. "Guyanji, that's enough. Whether you take the college entrance exam or not is none of our damn business. If I, your uncle, didn't see that you get good grades and wanted to discipline you properly for your dad, when you get into college in the future, our Song family can get some credit too. Since you're just a useless lump that can't be helped, why should we bother? Big sis, from now on, I won't meddle in your family's business anymore. Wife Jingnian, let's go." When the whole family walked out, my uncle Song Shanhei finally realized it fully. He'd been led by the nose by his nephew this whole time. It's all because the whole family had a guilty conscience. They were practically begging him to take the college entrance exam. Now he came to his senses. He should just act like the system doesn't exist. Would his big sis really allow her own son to skip the college entrance exam? But Song Shanhei was wrong. No sooner had he left than I told Mom about my college admission recommendation, including the part about getting eliminated by the system. I told Mom, when she died alone with a urine bag in her past life, she didn't cry. I told Mom, when our house was taken over by Uncle in her past life, she didn't cry either. It wasn't until I talked about getting eliminated by the system and getting hit by a car that Mom started sobbing. She said, "Yanji, if no one offends me, I won't offend them. If someone offends me, I will definitely offend them back. Do whatever you think is right. Mom will always stand by your side." I asked the school to keep my admission recommendation a secret for now. If anyone asks if I'm really skipping the college entrance exam, just say it's true. After sorting all this out, I really stopped going to school. I accompany Mom to do her rehabilitation training every day. I only stayed home for less than 3 days. Before my uncle's family couldn't hold back anymore, he tried to persuade my mom, "Sis, you're really letting your son skip the college entrance exam. He's Tsinghua material." My mom sighed. "I'm old and useless now. How can I control him?" Then he tried to persuade me. "Yanji, even if you don't care about yourself, think about your poor dad. He definitely wants you to get into college and make him proud." I laughed. My dad came to me in a dream and said, compared to getting into college, He'd rather I take Mom to live in a big house. Since Uncle can't do that, I'll earn the money myself by working. The couple begged so hard they even got blisters on their lips, but I still refused to go to school. The college entrance exam was approaching fast. I can afford to wait. They can't. Finally. My uncle made a desperate decision, took me to transfer the property ownership to me. The ownership transfer is just the first step. I was afraid he'd go back on his word and drag his feet moving out, so I told him I'll go back to school only. When he moves out, my uncle had no choice. He finished the ownership transfer in the morning and arranged to move out the same afternoon. But when they were moving, I caused trouble again on purpose. I said according to the contract terms, except for necessary documents, nothing else can be taken away. My uncle stomped his feet in anger. Those are all personal belongings of our family of 3. What do you want them for? I shrugged. It's clearly written in the contract. If you're curious, just stand aside and see what I use them for. Then my uncle and aunt saw me tell the workers to take down their perfectly preserved wedding photos and smash all of them into pieces. Before throwing them into the trash can, I also had someone tear their mattress into shreds. They stared at me, watching the workers messily handle their personal belongings. Their hearts were completely broken. My aunt was crying so hard she could barely stand, and screamed, "Oh my God, this is the home I've lived in for over 10 years. Song Jinian was also crying. Dad, cousin made us homeless. Only Song Shanhei watched all this with a gloomy face. Once the college entrance exam is over, all this will be ours again. Wife, daughter, don't you forget, we still have the system." Song Shanhei didn't even avoid mentioning the system. Right in front of me. He thought I had no idea. But actually I knew everything, and had already planned everything out. To make sure I didn't skip the college entrance exam, Uncle Song Shani was in charge of driving me there and back those days. He said it was to drop off and pick me up. But it was actually just to monitor me. But it didn't matter anyway. Once the college entrance exam ends, all of this will be over. I was the first one to turn in my paper for every single subject. The TV crew would say as soon as they saw me walk out, "Young man, you're the first one out of the exam room again. You finished the test so fast. Do you have any secret tricks?" Tricks? The trick is I just stared at the test paper for dozens of minutes in silence and didn't write a single word at all. Only my clueless uncle was glowing with excitement. He's a top student at number 1 high school, the well-known top student in the whole grade. Of course he finishes the exam fast. I knew how happy my uncle was inside. I heard him on the phone at night. He said, "Wife, only tomorrow is left. We'll be free once the exam is over. I know living in a rental isn't comfortable, but we only have to stay there for 1 more month." He was already daydreaming. Then Jinian will use my scores to get into Tsinghua University and marry the Su daughter from Lida Group. We'll have more projects than we can handle by then. Forget buying 1 apartment for your family. We can even afford 3. Sometimes he would grind his teeth in anger. When the system eliminates Guyanji, I'm going to set off firecrackers for 3 whole days. Oh, my silly uncle. Setting off firecrackers in the city will get you fined. And the system is going to eliminate you, not me. When the last subject exam finished, I was the first one to walk out of the exam room again. The reporter asked me again, "Hey, classmate, can you tell us why you finished the exam so fast every time?" My uncle was already over the moon with excitement. "I already told you. Guyanji is the top of his grade. Of course he finishes fast. But when no one was looking, he leaned to my ear and said, 'Guyanji, it's time. I'm telling you.'" Jinian wasn't lying. "You'll never get into college, because your test scores will become Jinian's scores. A sparrow can never become a phoenix." I smiled disdainfully. "Is that so? Then I guess I'll just wait and see." Right after the college entrance exam ended, I never saw my uncle and his family again. To them, I was already useless. They were just waiting for the system to eliminate me, so they could take my house after I die. The next time I saw them was on TV. That was the day college entrance exam scores were released. Uncle Songshan, he brought Sun Sinlan and Song Jinian to the Lida Group office. The room was also packed with reporters. Uncle Songshan, he said, "Chairman Su, your daughter promised my son Jinian that she would marry him if he got into Tsinghua. You wouldn't go back on your word, right?" The camera also showed a handwritten guarantee letter. Chairman Su had a serious expression, but as an entrepreneur, he had to maintain a positive public image. So he nodded and said he always keeps his promises. Uncle Songshan, he shook his hands in excitement. "Great! I've always admired how honest you are, Chairman Su. That's why I specially brought reporters here as witnesses. Jinian, come on, check your score now." Uncle Songshan was completely confident. Before he bound the system, He had already looked into everything. The person related to him by blood, who was smart enough to get into Tsinghua, was none other than his nephew Gu Yanji. He was already daydreaming about his business growing bigger and bigger, and eventually becoming even bigger than Lida Group. But the next second, a reporter's voice cut off his daydream. 0 points. You have the nerve to call me here for a 0. This is such a waste of my time. I could be interviewing the real top scorer. What? 0 points? Uncle Song Shani saw the reporters huddled together discussing, snatched his son's phone right away. He had no idea that Song Jinian already had a blank look on his face, like his soul had left his body. But the second he saw the 0 score on the phone screen, he let out a weird shriek. How is that possible? That can't be true. Gu Yanji is the top student in our grade. Gu Yanji is a top student across the whole city. There's no way he got a 0 on the exam. Nobody there understood what he was rambling about, but I knew exactly what Song Shanhee meant. The next second, my phone started ringing. I stared at him on the live news feed and picked up. Song Shanhee's face was twisted horribly. His voice sounded like it came straight from hell. Gu Yanji, how could you possibly get a 0? Do you know something you're hiding? But no matter what the case is, a 0 score means you can't get into college. What good does that do you? I smiled calmly and said, Uncle, you don't know I already got accepted via recommendation, do you? I only took the college entrance exam to mess with you guys. Song Shanhee didn't believe me at all. There's no way you got the chance to get a recommendation. I told Jinian to keep an eye on you. I would know the second you leave the city, and I'd do everything I could to stop you. I sighed. That's your beloved son's fault, you know. I just imitated Su Meng Yao's handwriting and wrote her a few love letters. I also told him the 2 days I went to Beijing for the exam were the death anniversary of Su Meng Yao's mom, and asked him to copy scriptures 1,000 times for Su's mom, then bring them to me for inspection. He completely forgot to keep tabs on me. He copied the scriptures for 2 whole days and nights. After he slept like a log for 2 more nights, I was already long back. Uncle's mind was all messed up. He was yelling loudly at his son, ordering him to say something, while clutching his head in agony. Impossible. There's no way you got recommended. I guided him patiently. Turn on YouKing Channel 3, and you'll see if I'm telling the truth. Uncle Song Shanhee grabbed the remote right away and turned on the LCD TV in Chairman Su's office. YouKing Channel 3 was reporting that our city has 3 students admitted to Tsinghua University this year. Among them, the one recommended to Tsinghua is Gu Yanji from YouKing No. 1 High School. On the screen was the footage of me being interviewed. Song Shanhee let out a miserable scream and jumped off the 33rd floor office. The reporters all panicked immediately. No one knew when. Song Jinian had already run downstairs. Aunt Sun Meiling ran after him trying to grab him. The 2 of them were hit almost at the same time by a huge truck that came speeding towards them. Right then, I heard the same mechanical system sound that was playing in their heads. Dear host, we regret to inform you that the score swap has failed. You did not meet the system's requirement of scoring over 600 points in the college entrance exam. The host's entire family will be eliminated. 3, 2, 1. Thud! 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 3 bodies hit the ground at the same time. The scene was absolutely brutal. I hung up the phone. Standing in my newly bought apartment, outside the huge floor-to-ceiling window, the setting sun was as red as blood. It just goes to show that evil will be punished. It's not that the punishment doesn't come. It's just that the time hasn't come yet.